Kal Kadosh, Boker Or. Masechet Zevachim, Daf Yudchet, Daf Yomi, Daf Yudchet, Amud Aleph 18a1. We're talking about right now a Gzera Shava. So we asked, how do we know that if somebody drinks wine, meaning they get intoxicated, we're talking about a Kohen, obviously, how do we know that if he does the services in the Bet HaMikdash, he desecrated the Korban or whatever service that he did? So we said, Tamul Omar, v'yayin v'shechal al tesht, u'lavdil ben hakodesh v'ben hachol. Right? So we come and we say, so the fact that it brings both of them together, meaning that you're not allowed to drink wine and separation between Kodesh and Chol, so therefore, it's going to desecrate it. Mechusar begadim, v'shelo rachutz yadayim v'raglayim minayin. How do we know that if the Kohen does not have his clothing, or meaning that he doesn't have the clothing of the Kohen, right? We're not talking about, right? Or that he didn't do the kiddush yadayim v'raglayim. Yes. לא, איך אנחנו יודעים שהוא לא עשה את זה, שזה גם מחלל את העבודה. So says the Gemara, Talmud Lomar comes to teach you, this is what we're starting today. Chukah is a gzera shava. Meaning we're making gzera shava when it says chukat olam לדורותיכם, והייתה להם כהונה לחוקת olam, that just like if he drinks wine, and he's intoxicated, and he does a service in the Bet HaMikdash, זה לא טוב, הוא מחלל את העבודה, גם מחוסר בגדים, which means that he doesn't have the clothing of the Kohen. Or right? Or he's lacking the netilat yadayim that he's supposed to be doing, the netilat yadayim v'raglayim, kiddush yadayim v'raglayim. Also, it's going to be mechalel et ha'avoda. So says the Gemara, if it's only going to be all over there from a gzera shava, hava mina, I would have thought to say, hanimila, one of these words, avodah dezar chayav alei, that it's going to be an avodah zar, that it's going to be chayav mitah. But if it's going to be avodah, but that zar is not going to be chayav mitah, I would say no. Kamashmalan comes to teach you, right? Fine. So Ashkechan, we're going to find mechusar begadim. What does it mean mechusar begadim? In all the avodot, so that means we found by lacking the clothing, meaning you don't have the uniform. Where do you see about drinking the wine? So So he says, we learned it from Gzera Shava the other way around, from Mechusar Begadim. So says the Gemara, V'atana ulavdil ben hakodesh v'ben hachol. It's already going back. So he says, yeah, mikamed, meaning before the Gzera Shava. Before you did the Gzera Shava, that's what we were asking, how do you know it from? V'atana, and we learned. Mechusar Begadim udekayalif. You're learning from Mechusar Begadim, you're learning it from Shtuyei Yain. So says the Gemara, Hachi Kama, this is what it means to say. Minayin shelo nechlak ben Mechusar Begadim Shtuyei Yain v'shelo rechutz v'raglayim. Right? How do we know that there's no difference? Meaning, just like if you came and you went into the Bet, remember, we're always talking about Kohen, but we're talking about a proper, whether it's attire, the way that they're clothed, right, that they're dressed, or conduct, right? So first of all, they cannot go in without their attire, without their clothing. They need their special clothing of Kohen. They need the uniform. Very good. Number two, they need to do Kiddush and Raglayim. That's the how do you say, anesthetic? That's the what you said before about that. Instead, the cleanliness and aesthetic. That they have to be pure without the without all these other things. They have to be 100%. That's kiddush and aglayim.
They can't be trash,
and they can be also okay. You said it in a very very nice way, Richard. Right? They can be intoxicated. Right? So you see from here the three different things that it's attire or conduct that they have to have. So how do we know in all these things that it's going to come and it's going to invalidate the korban, lechalel the korban? So says the Gemara, so then why do I need in the pasuk lavdim ben kodesh v'nachol then? Lamali, why do I need that? So he says lichderav, he needs it for Rav. The Rav lo mukim amura ala miyom tava lechavre, because Rav did not come and say from the day of the Yom Tov until the next day. Mishum, right? Because of shichrut. So he says zakati me'acha nafka. You're still learning it from over there. Mehatam nafka. You learn it from over there. V'natata min Aaron HaKohen b'chihuno. Right? What does that mean b'chihuno? לימד על כהן גדול שלבש בגדי כהן אדיוט ועבד, שעבודתו פסולה. We learn from here that when you have a Kohen Gadol, that he came and he put on bigdei Kohen Ediot, and he did the service, it's going to be pasul. Meaning it comes out that even if you have a Kohen Gadol that downgrades himself and he puts the clothing of a Kohen Ediot, that also makes it chilul, because he has to be wearing the Kohen Gadol's clothing. Now, Kohen Ediot.
Why wouldn't Rav put a speaker by his side?
Which one?
Rav, he wouldn't have a Meturgaman next to him.
So look in Yudaled Amud Aleph, 28.
deal.
Yeah, it was the minhag, but I guess he didn't do it. I don't know why.
Well, Yom Tov, you drink a lot more, it says.
Right. Okay. So he says, Mehatam. If it's going to be from over there, Havamina would have had the Havamina Hanamina. One of these words, Avodah de Makva Kapara, Valavodah de Makva Kapara, mean like this. When do I say it? Only if it's going to be an Avodah, which is going to be Meakev the Kapara. What happens if you have an Avodah which is not Meakev, meaning it doesn't impede the forgiveness? So then I would say that you could do whatever clothing that you want. You don't need Dafka the Kohen Gadol's clothing. It's not going to be right. So he says, Vakati me'acha nafka, you still learn it from over there. Me'atam nafka, we learn from over there, where it says Varuchu b'nei Aaron hakohanim et netilchim. Hakohanim b'kiunanu. They have to be in their kohanim, meaning their clothing. Mikan lekohen ediot shel lavash b'gdei kohen gadol. But that means here the other way around. If you have a kohen ediot wearing the kohen gadol's clothing, it's also going to invalidate. Meaning you can't go up and you can't go down. The kohen gadol has to wear his clothing, and kohen ediot has to wear his clothing. So he says, if it's from there, Havamina would have to say, Hanemi lechisur, aval yitur lo kamashmalan. No, meaning like this. I would have thought to say you're detracting. You're making it worse. I mean, you're going down. That, yes. But if you're going up, why? If you have a Kohen Idiot, he puts on a Kohen Gadol's clothing, why in the world is it going to invalidate it? He's becoming even better. Yeah. Okay, fine. You're right. But that's what he's saying. He said, we would have thought to say, right? But he says, Kamash Malan, that it's also going to be a problem. So, Tanu Rabbanan, we learned in the Braita, Hayu Mirushalim. If they were going to be Mirushalim, right? It says like, because they had long clothing. So it's Mirushal. Or Mesulakim. Yeah. So it's nigradim bakarka. It's very, very long, right? Or mesulakim in a karka, right? Which means it's too katzar, right? Berogas. Yeah. It's a mamash, yeah. So he says, or me shuchakim. Shuchakim is like it's worn out too much. Ve'avad. And he does the service in none of these. Avodato kshera. So the avodah is going to be kshera. So lavash nemichasam, if you put on two pants, two belts, or he put one less or one more, or he had a bandage underneath his clothing, right? Or Yudchet Amubet, 18b. Yeah, or metushtashin, it was dirty, or mekorain, or it was torn, ve'avad, and he does the service, avodatop sula, it's going to be pasul. So I'm going to view the Meshmuel, it says in Meshmuel, merushalin is kasher, mesulakin is psulin. Meaning if it's going to be too long, it's still going to be kosher, but if it's going to be too short, that's going to be pasul. Yeah, which one? Any coin, any coin. So says the Gemara, which one? Regular. The Tanya, we learned in the Braita, Mesulakin is going to be kshedim. So Amar Rabbi Yochanan, like I on a question. Here we're talking about that the bigadim are going to be kosher. It's going to be talking about that he picked it up through the belt. Here you didn't have it at all. Meaning it was too katzar, it was too short. So it wasn't that, so then it's going to be pasul. Meaning if it's going to be too short, it's pasul. But if it's just because you picked it up with the belt, it's going to be kosher. Rav Amar Rav says, doesn't matter, it's always going to be pasul. Ravuna ikla le'argiza. Ravuna comes and he visited Argiza. Ramale barosh pezechincha mi'amar Shmuel merushalin ksherin u'sulakin pasulim. Are you going to tell me now that merushalin is going to be kosher and sulakin is going to be pasul? Vatanya, we learned in the Braita. Mesulakin ksherin amale bar minada he. Except for this one, he says the shanya rami berchama ela lerav kasha, but it's going to be a question. If you're going to tell me my merushalin is mesulakin, if you're going to tell me now the merushalin is mesulakin, which means long means that it's really short. He says what? It can become shorter. What's going on? But rather the question is going to be mesulakin, that it's going to be too long. Yeah? Okay. Fine. So he says like this. Amar Bizera. So says the Bizera. Rav Chadatani. Rav actually taught only one of them. One of the cases. And he taught like this. Merushalim shesidkan alidei avnet. We thought before that merushalim means long. So he's dragging it. Mesulakin means short. So it looks, I don't know how you say it in English. It looks funny that, these like short pants and short. Right? Okay, fine. You're right. Yeah, without socks. That's the new moda. Without socks. Yeah, the new moda. Look around. People don't wear socks anymore. That's the new moda. Yeah. Yeah. So he says here like this. He says, "Merushalin shesilkan al avnet kesherin." It's going to be kosher. So Amar Rabbi Yirmiyah Difti says Rabbi Yirmiyah Difti, right? Merushalin shelo silkan tanai. Really be'emet, if you have merushalin, which are the long ones, that they did not actually pick it up through the belt, it's going to be machloket tanaim. So Tanya, as we learned in a braita, al arba kanfo kesuticha arba velo shalosh. It means you always have to have 4 corners for tzitzit, not 3. Or eno ela arba, or maybe it's going to be 4, but not 5. So Keshu Omer, when he says ashitecha seba, it already says that it's going to be 5. So how many mikayim arba? That has to be 4, not 3. So how do we know that a 5 corner garment is obligated in tzitzit and not 3? Meaning like this, it says 4 corners, right? But 1 second, a 5 corner garment, is it chayav tzitzit? So he said yes. What about a 3 corner? No. So he's asking, why are you including a 5 corner garment that it's chayav tzitzit and excluding a 3 corner garment that it's not chayav in tzitzit?
How about before the 20?
Exactly. 4, then you have to put tzitzit. If it's 3, no. But it's 5, yes. Yeah. And the question is, no, but you still have to put tzitzit. Now the question is why? Yes, yeah, but the question is why? Right? Why don't you just say it's patur legamre? Because it has to be dafka 4. So he says, "Man ra'ita l'rabot balat 5 utzi balat 3. Malbe ani balat 5, right? Sheyesh bichlal 5 4. Umotzi ani balat 3 she'en bichlal 3 4." He says very simple. When you have 5, you have 4 corners. Even though you have an extra corner, but you still have 4 corners. So that's why he says you have to put on 4 corners. But the 3 was never got to the 4, so you're not obligated. Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So the Tanya Yidach, and he says, so it's teaching you arba velo shalosh, arba velo chamesh, right? But the other one was teaching, no, that when it says 4, it's 4, not 3, and 4, not 5. So according to this one, even 5 is not going to be chayav.
Right.
Yeah, fine.
2 opinions now. 5, yes or no. Well,
Yeah.
A yes and a no.
Exactly. So let's see. So now he comes and he says like this. He says as follows, yeah?
Are you with us?
So he comes now like he says like this. Maila baka mi palgera, we're not talking about the more savad yater keman diite dami. That if it's going to be that there's going to be more, it's like it's there. More savar keman delete dami, which means like this. What happens right now if you have extra? Do you say that extra is kilu, that it's still there, and then it's going to be obviously a problem? Or are you going to say that we just ignore it? Meaning, if you have 5, I ignore the 5th one, and it's only like it's 4, and that's it. That's all that I'm looking at. So says the Gemara, no. According to everybody, it's like that it has it there. It's different over here. The Rabbi Yachmana, the Torah says, Asher techasebah. Asher techasebah means that it's going to be balat chamesh. The idach and the other one. Asher techasebah ma'ivele. What are you going to say? So he says, we need it for that which we learned in the Braita, uritem oto, prat leksut laila. When it says uritem oto, that comes to exclude a night clothing. Maybe it's only coming to exclude a suma. When it says uritem oto, it means you have to see it. What does he have to see it come to include? Is it coming to exclude that, for example, a blind person, because a blind person can't see it, so therefore he's patur? Or is it coming to exclude a night clothing, because a night clothing you can't see a night? Obviously with the candle, yes, but I'm saying you can't see a night. So night clothing or patur from tzitzit. So Keshu Omer when it says ksutsuma umur, it already says a ksutsuma of a blind person. Hamani mekayim uritem oto. It's ksulayla. So why are you including the ksutsuma and taking out the laila? Meaning, you say that a blind person is obligated in tzitzit, but nighttime, no. Maybe it's opposite. Maybe I'm going to be a marbe ksutsuma. So he comes and he says, very simple. Marbe ani ksutsuma sheyeshna briyat zel acherim. Mosi ani ksulayla shenem riyat zel. He says, very simple. A blind person, he himself can't see it, but you could see it on the blind person. So since you could see it on the blind person, he's going to be chayav in tzitzit. Laila, it's a nighttime. You're in bed, right? You're going to sleep. Nobody goes out with pajamas, right? Or at least majority of people, right? Which means that you don't go out with pajamas. So you don't go out with pajamas, right? So what do you want? You're not going to see it. Nobody sees it. Yeah. So he says, "V'idach nafkale." He learns it from asher techaseba. Right, but v'idach, the other one just says asher lo darishve. He's not dorish. Yeah, Tanu Banan. Yeah, Benedam, right? He says, Tanu Banan. Bad shel boots. Are you listening? Bad shel boots. Yeah, bad shel boots. What is bad? Bad is boots. The beged. Bad is pishtan, linen. Shh. Yeah.
Not with you.
Yeah. Yeah, which means like this. What's he saying here? He's saying something incredible. We just learned last night, right? Begach boots, right? That they used to put boots. What's boots? Linen. So therefore, they used to put the linen cloth in between the kohen gadol to make a pasek. Oh, the pasek's not with us, right? To make a thing between us, right? And
Sadin shel boots. No.
exactly, sadin shel boots. Says we just learned.
Like the changing room. Yeah, but מביאים לנו דווקא של boots.
Yeah, so he says, so this bad is of boots. Bad shiyu chadashim. Bad shiyu shizurim. Has to be woven. Bad shiyu chutan kaful shisha. Has to be by 6. Bad shelo yilbash shel chol imahen. He's not going to do cholov with it. So says the Gemara, Tanu Rabbanan, we learned to the Braita, when it says bad, it has to be of boots. It has to be a pishtan. Bad has to be chadash. It has to be new. There's a big dick, you have to be new. Bad shiyu shizurim has to be woven. Right? Bad shiyu chutan kaful shisha has to be woven into 6. You know, like when they take the 6 strings and they wove it together into one. Okay? Bad shelo yishbash shel chol imahen. Bad means that you could only have the kodesh clothing, the clothing of the big dick kohuna. He cannot wear his regular clothing. Meaning he can't just put it on top of his, like the uniform on top of his regular suit. It has to be much separate clothing.
So newness is not essential. Sixfold is essential.
Yes. What's a newness? What did you just say?
Newness has to be a new garment.
Ah, yeah.
They're saying it, that's not.
Oh, well, we didn't see that. Yeah. So Amale Abaye Rav Yosef says Abaye to Rav Yosef, Bishlama, I understand shiyu shel boots, hakamash v'lan boots. So he says boots im midachalin no. But bad shiyu chadashim min shechakin lo v'atani meshchukim sherim. We said that if it's going to be a little bit worn out, it's still okay. So Amalei he says, "V'litamech." And according to you, bad shiyu chatin kavul shisha bad chad chad lechudei mashma. Ah, when it says bad, it's mashma 1. So you don't need that. Also, it's going to be woven into 6. Elachi kamar. But what means say like this? Begadim shneimar b'en bad. Whenever it says bad, tzechin shiyu shel boots chadashim shuzurim. It always has to have these qualities. It has to be new, linen, woven into 6. V'chulu v'chulu. Yesh men lemitzvah. Some of them is only a mitzvah to do it, but it's not me'akev. But some of them me'akev. Some of them it impedes. Okay, so says the Gemara. Bad is linen.
No.
Bad is a clothing. Bad is a clothing. Yes. Bad is a cloth. Right? Cloth. Cloth. Pishtan. Yeah. No, bad is like a cloth. Bad is like badim. Bad is cloth. But basically it's a clothing. It's a linen material. So ema le'amra. So he says, okay, maybe bad just means that it has to be le'amra. Amra is semer, is wool. So says amra mi patzal. He says, no, the amra, it does not grow but bevad. So therefore you have to come and it splits up. So he says, kitna nami. He says, well, also linen. Also does the same thing. So alidei lakuta mipsal. He says, no, it's only when you start hitting it does it start splitting. Ravina comes and he says, me'achad. There's another place also. Pare pishtim yu al rosham, mechnese pishtim yu al motrehem, lo yichiru beyaza. So he says, Amal Ravina says, Rashi to Ravina, Veha de'ata Yecheskel minalan. Until Yecheskel comes, how does he know this? V'litamech, according to your reasoning, Had Amar Rav Chasa. This is the Chasa says, Davar ze lo lomanu, right? Mitorah Moshe Rabbeinu lomanu. We didn't learn from Torah Moshe Rabbeinu. Elam divrei Yecheskel mimuz lemanu. Kol ben nechar adel lev. Anything which is going to be ben nechar adel lev, adel basar. Lo yavo el migdashi ad sheba Yecheskel until Yecheskel is going to come. Minalan, how do we know? Ela, but rather Gemara Gimirele. Right? They're going to learn that they have a Kabbalah. Comes Yecheskel and he's going to put it on a pasuk. Hachanami, so to here, Gemara Gemirele, they have a Kabbalah in their hand that the bad is talking about Pishtan, right? And therefore, right, we know that means basically they had a Masorah, they had a tradition that it had to be with linen. It was a tradition. Okay? Fine. Now, yes, Halakha Moshe Misilah, that's a tradition from Moses. Yeah? So, what does it mean lo yichkiru beyaza? They're not supposed to put the avnet in a place where they start sweating, perspiring. Thank you. The Tanya has learned to the Braita, they don't do it below the loins, right? Or above me'atzilehen, or above in the right by the here, because that's where they're going to start sweating. Ela, but rather but rather by right their wrists, right? That means when they have their hands down by their wrists. That's where they're going to do it. Okay.